I worked with Rosemary Clooney in the early 80s. I had been on Woody Herman's band with a fellow classmate from the Eastman School of Music named John Otto, and Rosemary snatched John Otto from Woody's band. And after I left Woody Herman's band and moved to New York City, John called me to do some work with Rosemary, and it was a very special time for me, and I learned a lot about songs and music from Rosemary. She was a wonderful singer, a great communicator, had a great swing feel, and she was a lovely, lovely person. And when she sang, I always felt like it was my Aunt Rose singing right to me. So it was special. Woody Herman had a fairly steady flow of musicians who came out of the Eastman School of Music. And most of the jobs that we get are through recommendation. It's not that often that we would audition to be in a band. You would just get the call, and if you didn't work out, you'd get the trap door. So some guys had left Eastman for Woody Herman's band, and eventually I got the call to join, and shortly after I did, my dear friend Dave Radicek was a wonderful drummer. He followed, and we all kind of, there was like a chain of guys. So that's how I got the job with Woody, and Woody was a terrific guy and a great band leader, and he really championed younger players, and it was very educational. Well, I learned from Woody Herman a lot about organization, and he would even say, "I'm not the world's greatest clarinet player, but I'm a good organizer." And I remember the guys would come in with arrangements, and he'd say, "No, put this section here, have the solo there." He would kind of restructure things without changing their instrumentation or any of the voice leading or anything about the arrangement other than where things went, so that from point A to point Z of the chart, the audience was taken for a ride, and it was more musically satisfying. That was one of the things I learned, and he was also always pushing the guys to be stronger. You really have to be strong to be on the road and play in a big band and travel on the bus, and I even remember I remember when I quit. I'd done it for about a year, and it was time for me to move to New York. And I told Woody, I said, "Woody, I can't ride the bus anymore." "Try doing it for 40 goddamn years." That was my exit. That was probably the most fun I had playing, was being in his band. First of all, it was a real education, because when he played cha-cha-cha, he expected you to know a regulation cha-cha-cha bass line or samba or swing, and and if you didn't know it, what was nice about him is he'd come over and sing it in your ear. He'd sing it or whatever the line was, and you'd get it. He wasn't like, "You don't know it, you're out." So it was very special, and of course he's such a character and a wonderful musician. I had a great time. I think we would get up in the morning and we'd start laughing from breakfast until it was time to go to bed. He was just unbelievable. And also when we did those tours with Dizzy, those big tours in Europe, there were a lot of characters on the band. One of my favorites was Dizzy's bass player, John Lee. And John would interview each guy in the band on a little cassette machine, and he'd talk, and he'd ask you, who's your favorite player in the band, and all kinds of questions. You'd answer. He'd go back to his hotel room and change the questions, and then play it. And I can't even repeat what the questions morphed into, but it was a great idea, and it was like a candid camera. I don't know if you remember Candid Camera. Oh, it was unbelievable. We had such fun. It was great. I got to work with Dizzy Gillespie a few times in the, I guess it was in the late 80s, maybe into the early 90s. I was playing with the great Paquito de Rivera in his band, which I did for about 5 years. And Paquito played in one of Dizzy's international big bands. And we did a tour of Europe that was Dizzy's band, Miriam Makiba's band, and Paquito's band. And it was a big tour of Europe. And we all kind of got to play together. And I got to play with Dizzy, and they called a couple of times. When their regular bassist couldn't make it, I was invited to play with him. And it was fantastic. And I always tell people, probably the greatest compliment I ever got, and I remember it like it was yesterday. We played in Nice at the Jazz Festival, and I walked off stage, and Dizzy came up to me and said, "Yeah, baby, I like the way you play." And I was like, "Could you write that down, please?" And it was really a thrill to work with Dizzy Gillespie, because he and Charlie Parker were the inventors of the language that everyone uses. Everyone that's come after uses stuff they came up with. Hi, this is David Finck. For more videos, go to JazzTimes.com.